I'm doing a 30-minute session for a client, so I'm going to be sharing psychic wisdom and energy healing. If any of you are interested in exploring a psychic session with me, please come visit me at my website at abbeynormalswisdomquest.com. Okay, so I'm going to read the goals here and get started. Abbey, can we do a healing style session with Ra from the raw contact material? Okay. This is going to be so interesting. Okay. Healing style session with Ra. Raw from the raw contact material. I feel so happy. Okay. Thank you so much for this opportunity to connect with you today. Thank you so much for sharing with others. All right, let's see what happens here. There's so much sound and information, and I'm going through a tube, but the tube is circulating and it's lots of golden light, and I'm kind of going straight ahead through this tube of circulating golden energy, golden light, and I hear all of these talking voices, okay? And it's very hard to really depict what any one voice is saying. And it literally sounds like a bunch of people talking over each other constantly, like rivers of sounds of people talking. And now that I'm into this tube, I'm not really having to walk myself through it. It's just sort of moving me through this tube towards some kind of location. I feel alone. I feel that I stand alone. I feel like I am a single lone human being in a vast, massive universe. There is a sadness to the way that this image appears to me. If this were to be art, the golden light is so vibrant and beautiful. You could depict, like, bubbles in soda pop. It's like all these little bubbles of people that are communicating. So there's all this sound and movement and energy, but then you have just like this human being who stands alone, and they're quite small in this big thing, and there's a bit of a shadow that they cast as they are slowly going through this to some destination. But I will say, it feels lonely. It feels empty. It feels starting to understand what the golden light is and why the shadow is cast by the human, because this represents light and illumination. So already we've started the healing process for you, and this light is illuminating the shadow within you and is bringing that out, okay? And it seems to be doing it without us even having a clue that it was even happening, okay? Okay. I do feel like this golden circulating light does represent my heart energy. I feel my heart energy is circulating and becoming more golden light. I feel kind of emotional about it, but it's not quite triggering me there yet, but it is meaningful. It is deeply meaningful. I feel a letting go, like I'm ready to shed a massive sense of self that no longer serves my purpose. There's a density in the throat that is happening now. So is it I, or is it you? Or is it we? On this tube, this tunnel, golden light, moving us to some destination. I'm going to stay with this feeling, okay? Heartbreaking feeling. And I'm starting to hear the sound of all these voices talking over each other is getting softer and softer and softer. And even the golden light doesn't seem to be full of these bubbles. It seems to be smoothing out. And things are getting softer, simpler, and just smooth. It's not like a dimensional scene, it's becoming flatter. Like I'm watching TV, okay? From being in the 3D movie to now I'm sitting on the couch watching just a regular show. I haven't reached the center of this or the destination. I feel this concept of raw is he's not a he's a big deal. I mean, I experience his energy before me as a single persona, and he's massive. He's absolutely massive. But he's not trying to be the center of attention, believe it or not. He's not trying to be like, see me. I have all the answers. He's just presenting himself. And I experience his essence in this experience with you as representing equality, okay? Where he sees you as he sees himself, as he sees me, as he sees everybody. There's always a sensation of equality, okay? And I will say that equality to me right now, it feels very boring. It's like, so everybody is basically kind of like every little drop of water creates the ocean. And now all the drops of water merge into a oneness, which is the ocean. It's like, well, where's all the individual drops? They just got swallowed up and turned into a big giant ocean. This is so boring right now. I want to see the individual, creative, unique, individual identities. But when everybody's equal, I don't experience the individual. I experience the totality, and it feels like a single sound. It feels like a single sound. And in a way that makes me feel sad. And I feel like this healing is about the ego. This healing is about the human separation from what is the oneness by choice through the gift of the ego. And I feel a great grief in the process of that skin, of shedding the identity. I feel like it's a shedding of a layer of ego. And only the ego would define the oneness as boring. Because the ego wants to be an individual, therefore the ego wants an experience of separation, and I am the one. I am it. You're not it because I'm it. Hello. So ego can be like that, okay? Gosh. And this is really good because the raw essence, the raw essence in the raw is really amplifying that gift of sensation, which makes me feel sad because I'm becoming a single sound and I'm feeling like I'm losing my sense of individuality. And as I get sucked into the vast ocean, I am just the ocean now, and that makes me feel like I have lost my identity, and that makes me feel sad. And I feel that what Ra is expressing here is a gift of transformation for you, for me, for all of us, and through your session of a letting go of an element of the ego. Because it is an illusion, you understand? It is an illusion that you are losing or ever have lost a sense of self. That's just transformation, new experiences. But here it is a single sound, and that is a wholeness. And that is something spectacular. So let's continue to listen and see where this takes us. feel alone. So I'm kind of merging. I'm watching from a distance you, the shadow cast. There is this massive being representing Ra. I hear a single sound. I experience all these beings and all this information is a part of the single sound and Ra, okay? Now I'm also you as a single one standing here. And let me see what the conversation is like, okay? So I'm going to try to express it as best I can here. Okay? It's hard to do because all those sounds that were out there were actually inside here. They were inside of yourself. There's so much interaction, there's so much chatter going on inside that you couldn't possibly hear what the wholeness is saying, what the oneness is saying. Because inside is so much ridiculous amounts of sound and people talking over each other. And now that that's hushed and this moment of communicating with Ra is taking place, all that sound starts to develop and it's like constant. It's like cars zooming in this way and this way and this way and this way and this way, and somehow they don't crash into each other, but it's all so fast and it's just so many just directions of thought and feeling and ideas, and some of it feels positive and some of it feels negative, I guess. Like it's just like bah humbug, yay, but I don't know, yay, I'm so confused, why am I standing here? It's just all these questions and feelings and intermixing deeper emotions. And so Ra now is pulling out the bubbles from inside and bringing them externally out, and all of this looks like it's pretty looking. Actually, they're clear, I can see through them, but there's a metallic essence and there's all these almost magnetically connected layers of bubbles, and it looks like he pulled out some intestines. I mean, it even looks like a placenta in a way, and it just plops like a body mass full of bubbles on the ground, and it has a big long cord like an intestine or an umbilical cord, and he just pulled it straight out, and it was all these conversations. And I am experiencing shaking now, like I feel colder and I feel scared and I feel confused and I feel like I don't understand, but I do understand what's going on here. I just don't want to admit to myself what I actually do know, because I want to hold on to the fear that this could be bad. Like I'm losing my identity, but really I'm transforming into a more of a whole sense of self. But that process is a death and a rebirth, which is why the resistance. So the expression is, I'm scared, Ra. I'm scared, I don't understand. I want to be healed. What is this? Take the pain away. Set me free. Is a single sound to be free, then to be a single sound, and that's what I become? Am I losing everything and gaining whatever was freedom, whatever is freedom? Why am I so afraid of freedom? Why am I afraid of a single sound? Why am I resisting becoming that? Why am I now overwhelmed by you? Why do I now feel like I cannot trust you? But yet I have no choice. And Ra says that trust, he's talking about what trust actually is. And the human with the ego has to wrap its head around the meaning of things in order to make the logical, smartest, safest, savviest decisions, right? So trust is when you don't listen to ego, when you take a silent step into the unknown, because you just know it's the right thing to do. No matter what your head tells you, it is the right thing to do, because you just somehow know inside. And that is trust. Because the reason that you need trust in the first place is because then you're afraid. It's an insecurity. Why would you even need to contemplate this concept of what it is to trust? To trust in something, to put your trust in someone. Okay, I'm going to put my trust in you. I don't know, but I'll just put my trust in you. Verse, I know what I'm doing, and I know this step is right for me, even if it makes no sense to everybody else. And now we kind of make that trust word disappear, and we just take that step because we just simply intuitively know. And we don't have to size up the situation or size up the person or recall the memories and the reasons why we can't trust, and etc. We just let all that stuff go, because that's all the ego holding on to all these concepts and creating all this noise and separation. And really, you can simply just trust in something deeper, something more silent, a single sound of wholeness. You say, I want to let go of this shadow. Ra says, step forward. And I see you step onto what is like a platform. And there's Ra here, this huge golden energy being. The weaving is literally weaving golden threads of light, and it's weaving it through this shadow on the back side of yourself. You're in the palm of Ra's hand as he has lifted you up higher, and he is putting these golden threads through the shadow. In his own right, he is kind of like a sense of the Holy Spirit. I felt the Holy Spirit in its own form, but this reminds me too of the Holy Spirit, because there is a blessing, there's a miracle sensation, there's genuine pure love sensation. If you open up to receiving this healing is there for you. It is an act of letting go of ego. And if you need support in that act of letting go of ego, request it of Ra. And he's here to support in that process, just like the Holy Spirit. It's like the goodness of the universe. There are consciousness that represent the goodness of the universe. that will always represent the goodness of the universe. It's like they are pillars of their own energy that maintain themselves as this form of energy. And this very much so reminds me of that Holy Spirit light, because it is a goodness and it is genuinely there and it is honoring of your request. This is still taking place. There's an exhaustion in the face and in the throat, a heaviness in the head that's taking place here. Just there's a sensation of getting more relaxed and comfortable. There's a sensation of being like a child that just wants to snuggle with a parent and just feel close to the parent. So you're lying down now in Ra's hands, and he is gently weaving this golden thread, these golden threads through the shadow on your backside. And it's almost like none of this, it's the comfort, the sensation of comfort. It's the sensation of just allowing the process to take place, keeping a clear mind as the process is taking place, allowing it to continue to take place. I see you getting comfortable enough to fall asleep now. And I see that as you sleep, as in your body sleeps, there's another part that is very unhappy about this. It's basically, it looks like a robotic self that's made out of black with red glowing eyes. And it's bickering and angry that it was manipulated into being put to a rest state. How dare you try to remove me? How dare you? It's like the ego does get belligerent like this. It can become in its own right a demon in its own right, okay? And I see the sleeping you is opening up the backside of yourself, which is revealing this full-fledged body inside your body, and it's like the ego, okay? And it's really screaming and angry, and it's very much, you've manipulated me. How dare you manipulate me into falling asleep so that you could have your way with me, so that you could take me, so that you could remove me. How dare you, you know? It's not going to acknowledge what it could work on within itself. It's not going to acknowledge that it is insecure. It is not going to acknowledge that it is afraid. It's just going to point fingers. That's how you know that it is ego, an ego inspiration. It's very, very heavy, my goodness. You're relaxing even more in your sleep state. Tears. This is interesting. These tears seem to be coming from your third eye down through your eyes and from your eyes down your cheeks. And it creates this kind of V shape, upside down V shape, okay? And you tell Ra that you're not afraid of being a drop in the ocean. And if you blend into all of the totality of the ocean, you're at peace, because without you, the ocean isn't whole. And that you want to be whole, and with a whole ocean that feels whole within itself. And if you could create that wholeness within the ocean, then you yourself can feel the wholeness within yourself. And it's all about this wholeness and an understanding how essential that every soul is to the wholeness. And when the soul returns to the wholeness, it's like the water returning to the ocean. Every drop does count. Every soul does matter. And it's important that we really feel and have that awareness of the value of our soul. Every single soul. There would be no ocean without drops of water. Which is why every drop counts. Every soul counts. And this comfort is starting to relax that inner body that's all black, kind of robotic-y with the red glowing eyes. This represents kind of a demonic side of ego out of control, okay? That is starting to fall asleep and get more relaxed. And it chooses words like, I understand and I forgive myself. I can't be everybody for everybody. I can only be this one. You call it body of water. Every drop of water is a body of water. Added to the body of water of many drops creates an ocean, another version of a body of water. And your soul in and of itself is a body of water. And the ego is saying kinder things. It is understanding the light and the love and how essential that energy is to true joy and happiness in life. And ego does want to attain that experience, does want to attain a joyful life. So when it's introduced to it softly, gently, it opens up to these concepts. And it's not struggling inside itself anymore. And it isn't calling it manipulation, but the grace of God. Again, very much like a Holy Spirit type flame. It's like the grace of God. And I feel a gratitude within this ego body, a gratitude for it. In a way, it's like the ego gets so tired, and in a way, it's like it gets dried out inside of itself, and it becomes ill. And when it becomes ill, it starts being belligerent and nasty like this and afraid. But when it is comforted by something so immaculate and genuinely supportive, it remembers that it was always there like this. And it wants to allow this in again. Like a child wants to be held. A child trusts. Trusts in the goodness. The ego now can trust in the goodness too. And it can feel the goodness inside itself. Now I see the spirit of who you are is rising out of this form, which is a sleeping body with another body that is going to rest, representing the ego now softening and relaxing. And I see that material just kind of, it just disappears. As your spirit rises out of that material, the material disappears, and I see your spirit here is glowing with golden light. And you cry and you go to Ra and you merge with his face. Like you literally go into his cheek. And you go into behind his nose and up into his head. I felt that. And you start to I mean, I don't know what this is, but I guess it's the equivalent of happy tears, but it's energy that is sort of like splurges out the where the eyes would be, and it's like pew 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 pew. It's like glitter sparkles and stuff. Like it's really happy, sparkling, golden energy that's just coming out of this part of your face. I mean, you're an energy body that's releasing this, and it's happiness. And I feel you creating a ripple throughout Ra's body, and all the other drops of water feel your ripple, and they all feel it inside, and they're so grateful for you as you are so grateful for them. And the gratitude is connected, it is whole, and everyone rejoices in that gratitude. I mean, everyone reaps the reward of that gratitude, of simply your gratitude. Everyone reaps the reward and expresses their gratitude, which everyone reaps the reward. It is just such a great environment. Oh my gosh. And I see that your soul wants to remain here. This part of your soul wants to remain here for a time and just to heal within this body of light. And Ra is like an ocean of light. I mean, is like the sun. The sun kind of looks like an ocean of light, doesn't it? If you look at photographs, we would call it on fire, but it kind of looks like an ocean of light. Is what I'm literally looking at, an ocean of light. And it is on fire, you could say, but it's energy, it's love. And I see this part of your spirit is sending all the love that all the other drops of water in this body are sending, the vibes through them, through everybody is sending it together through Ra, through this, to you, through your form, because you are a part of this and it is a part of you in your incarnate state. You are feeling the ripple of Ra through you in your incarnate state. And all those watching who feel a connection with this, you too are a part of the body of Ra. And allow yourself to feel the ripple of gratitude that all souls have for you. And to feel that in your heart is like this blossoming ecstasy, that you could only be grateful then for all of this body of Ra. All the droplets of water that make an entire ocean, right? All the souls that create this oneness. It is a giant energetic organism. Is the only way I could define it. And it moves like water. That is... I mean, it moves like... You know how fish in a school of fish, like they move together and they just create these just crazy patterns of movement underwater? But it's always kind of got these patterns of movement throughout it, kind of like fire, but it does look like moving water, and it's this incredible, immaculate light. What's interesting is I feel that souls go to this source energy in order to experience a recovery state and to send that energy back to themselves in order to brighten their incarnate state, to strengthen their incarnate state. And I see souls come and go from here. So they enter, and then there's times where they leave too. Um, because souls are always in motion and wanting to, it's you could say it is like a community. It is like a healing center in and of itself, because of its rippling gratitude and its pure love and its complete understanding and its timelessness and the illumination that it expresses and the oneness. I feel that this Ra is an interdimensional being. I feel it is like always going to forever will be a beacon of its own energetic definition. Like it will always exist as this. And it will be an open door for souls to come and go as freely as they desire, anytime they desire it. And souls will be introduced in incarnate states to this, where they will be attracted or they won't, because we all have divine time and things we want to do and explore and experience. And some of us will be attracted to this, okay? It's like a moving heaven. It's like a bus that is a heaven, like a stop. I'm going to get on the bus of Ra for a while. And I'm just going to take this journey with the Ra, the community of Ra. And then when I feel rehabilitated or I reach a level that I want to reach, then I'm going to do the next thing. But that energy is always rippling into your incarnate selves, okay? I still feel there's higher dimensional planes that would be source, but source can be, I mean, this is a high dimensional state, as a high vibrational state of being, but source is more like, I mean, this could even be defined as a living organism. This could be a whole living being, you know, full of a vastness of incredible souls that are working through healing and regenerating in gratitude with one another. And then there's this source space. This is like the ultimate oneness. And in that source space, I experience as just pure silence. Just pure silence. Anybody can access that pure silence place here, right now, as human beings. You have to practice silencing yourself. Like in the beginning, with all that sound, I thought that was from the Ra concept, but it was actually showing me what a human being sounds like on the inside. And then when we stand before this oneness and the single sound, why that is so scary, because those voices will be silenced, which is actually the shedding of the skin, the healing of the ego, the oneness with this energy of gratitude. It's an incredible process, but you can reach the silent state. You can reach source even in an incarnate state. So you just choose to be silent, and you'll receive downloads of information, because it won't be like someone talking in your head. It will be just silence. But as you go there, you will find a rehabilitation there as well, in the silence. There could be quite a lot of resistance. Ego will feel overwhelmed by that as well, because ego doesn't like to be quiet. But as you learn to nurture ego in the process of you both working together to come to a place of silence, then you can experience the source. You can experience pure silence. In the silence is everything. But to us it would be like pure silence. There's nothing here but just silence, but there's everything here. Everything is here. That's so great. Thank you so much for this. I feel really bright, and I feel introduced to something very special. And thank you for introducing me to that. I've visited Ra before. Every consciousness has multitudes of versions of itself. And this is the first time I've experienced Ra in this state, and it is extremely incredible and worth all of us going to visit and hang out there for a while. It's really good. Thank you for this experience. Thank you for sharing with others. And thank you all for watching. Thank you so much. I hope you all have a very wonderful rest of your day.